If you're sailing through a sea of negativity, but your boat has no holes in it, your ship has no holes in it, that sea can't get in the boat and that ship is not going to sink. I just compared boats and ships. There's a little difference. Boats are like this, ships are like this, but what are you going to do? What's going on, guys? I want to make a video today about negativity and how to eradicate it from your life. So we've all got this internal monologue that goes on in our minds. We talk to ourselves throughout the day. And some of us, this is really helpful because we've got a very positive mental monologue going, and this is how we can talk ourselves over challenges, and we can make ourselves believe in ourselves and push ourselves farther than others can because we're able to build ourselves up. Now, then you have the people who have the negative internal monologue. These are the ones that tell us all the reasons we can't do something. And this is what happens when, say, an obstacle comes your way and you start to have anxiety about it and you start to lose your mind, and you're looking at it and you're coming up with all these reasons and all the problem finding and the problem-finding mindset, and you're going to look at this and just go, this is going to be the death of me, this is going to take me out, this is going to destroy my business, this is going to do this, that, and the other. If you haven't noticed, it can be extremely difficult to give yourself advice. The people who are extremely good, I'm talking really, really, really good at positivity and such, are able to administer it to themselves. But it's really rare. Most of the time, when you're feeling down about yourself, you give your friend a call, or you talk to a parent, or you watch something uplifting, or you do something along those lines, because it's very hard to self-generate. There are ways to do it, and I'll get into that on another later video, but there are ways to self-generate. Think of it like coaching yourself, but it's extremely hard. Now, when you go and speak to somebody else, how often do you actually feel better after expressing yourself to this person or venting, and then they give you advice and you go, you know what, that's a really good idea, this isn't as bad as I thought it was, this, that, and the other, and then you're able to overcome it. This video is one of the ways to kind of self-generate, even though it's still using an external source. Yeah. Now, when we take a good look at ourselves, what you end up finding is that a lot of times inside is your greatest enemy. Your greatest enemy is not outside of yourself. And again, this is that internal monologue. So an easy way to experience this is to see where the love force comes from. And what I mean by that is that it's so easy to show others love. It's so easy to push yourself to, drive somewhere when you're exhausted to go and get something for a loved one, or, you're half asleep and you get a call that someone's in the hospital, and you're boom, you're right up and you race on down to the hospital and you're there for them, and maybe you grab them flowers on the way, maybe you do this, maybe you do that. And this is also where if you're trying to provide for somebody like a child or a lover, sometimes people are able to be much more creative than they normally are. They can go out and make money when previously, if they didn't have this child or they didn't have this lover in their lives, they are kind of stagnant more, right? Because they have a much more love for others. They're much more able to give love to others than they're able to give to themselves. Now, that lack of love for oneself permeates into everything that you do. So if you're trying to get a job promotion, well, if you loved yourself more and you truly valued that job promotion, you would do certain things differently to put you next in line for that job promotion, as opposed to, Tom or Harry or whoever else is going for that same position. You would push yourself further, the same way that if somebody you knew was looking for that position, you would be behind them, you would be telling them every day, hey, you got this, you're going to excel, you're going to, you have what it takes to do this. And when the person gets down, you would talk them up and be like, no, this is just a bad day, you've got this handled, this, that, and the other. How do we do this for ourselves? When you take a look at our physical bodies, and when I say that, I'm also talking about the brain. When you take a look at the brain and the pure physical body of humans, they're very animalistic. Now, they are wired for survival. They're not wired for happiness. All right? Make no mistake and do the research yourself if you don't believe me, but you are not wired to make you happy. You're just wired to survive and to procreate, to pass on your genetics to the next generation, and then continue on about your life. You are programmed to find food, to find water, to get all the other resources that are needed, including shelter, to simply exist, right? Survival. And then to be able to provide for your offspring. That's really all you're wired for. But we are not just the physical body. We have the spirit or the soul or whatever it is that sits in the control center and controls this sophisticated machine, right? Now, that does desire happiness, does desire love. When you look at the animal kingdom, there are glimpses of love and happiness and such that animals seem to go after, but most of the time, animals, they have those survival instincts. That's the kind of stuff that keeps them alive in all the dangerous situations that they face when they're out and about in the wild. So the point I'm trying to get across is that happiness doesn't just happen. It's not just going to be something that miraculously one day you wake up and you're happy. This is something you have to actively work towards and actively cultivate in your life. Now, some people would tell you that now that you understand this, you understand the nature of the beast, and that this is just what life is, life being the beast, nature of the beast. Well, the thing is that when you use the word nature, it implies that it cannot be changed. Now, that's not true. So instead of calling it, this is the nature of the beast, let's call it the knucklehead of the beehive, and that we can kick this ideology out of there, and we can rewrite this, which is basically the subconscious. Now, when you have a negative monologue that's going on in your mind, you're basically deceiving yourself, because you can choose to be positive or you can choose to be negative. But I'm not just going to be throwing something at you today like, oh, let's just have some positive thinking, okay? Positive thinking is like 1 or 2/10 of the overall spectrum, all right? So I'm going to give you some of the missing pieces today. Now, that internal monologue, when it's negative, it's essentially a deception. We can tell ourselves positivity or we can tell ourselves negativity. But what I'm going to be talking about today is not just taking positive thinking, all right, or negative thinking and just don't look at the negatives and stuff. Let's just go outside and stand in the rain and tell ourselves it's not raining, it's not raining, it's not raining. It's really not going to change things for you, okay? But what I want to get across is that when you tell yourself these negative things, this deception is a parasite, all right? And it's a parasite because it sucks the energy out of you, and it spends the glucose that resides in your brain on stupid endeavors, like all of the excuses for why this is not going to work and all the non-solutions based thinking that goes on. And once your glucose goes down, your willpower goes out the window, and now you have nothing left to be able to move forward and find a real solution for things. So what I want to get into is the fact that our minds are like supercomputers, meaning they can be programmed. Now, they have both hardware, which for a computer would be like the monitor, the keyboard, the motherboard, the hard drive, the RAM, video card, all that. That's hardware, okay? It's stuff that's physically tangible, you can touch. Then it has the software being the operating system that runs the computer. You've got, XP, Vista 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. You got the older models and such. They're all different versions of operating systems. And then you've got, Ubuntu and Linux. It's all in what you choose to put into the computer, but it is your choice. Now, the interesting thing about the mind and the brain is that the hardware can actually change depending on the software that you put into it. And that's a topic for a whole nother day, but it's called neuroplasticity. And it's a very interesting concept where when you change your thinking, when you change your mind, you literally physically change your brain as well as its brain chemistry. And it actually almost morphs. And then there's even deeper studies where they show that our DNA actually changes as well depending on our thinking, which is just, it's mind-boggling when you sit down and really think about it. But all that you have to get from what I'm talking about right now is the fact that your thoughts are far more powerful than you think that they are. And that the operating system that you're running on, if it's got negative software that's screwing you up in life or keeping you out of a healthy relationship or whatever is going on, whatever this internal monologue is that is beating you down, because personally I have dealt with that for a very, very long time in my life, and I'm going to give you a method of which really helped me. What it essentially is it's a meditation, but it's not something where you literally have to sit down and put on headphones and just like sit there and really meditate on it. You can do it that way, but it's something that can just be played in a car or played in headphones when you're going for a walk, or just throw on headphones in the morning for like 10 minutes and put it on. What it is there's a guy, his name is Paul Santisi, Paulsantisi. He's on YouTube. You can look him up. Just type in Paul Santisi. And he has, it's essentially called Re-Educating the Soul. And he makes these for free. So you can just look this up, or you could download them if you want. He puts them all onto his YouTube page. What they are is this. It uses 3D technology. So when you have the headphones on, which is the most effective way to listen to it, or you're surrounded by the speakers in a car, think about as if you were sitting in a chair and you've got multiple people around you speaking to you. Like when you have the headphones on, you'll hear someone right here, you'll hear someone in front of you, you'll hear someone behind you, and it's not just positive affirmations, okay? Because people get into a lot of like, just think positively, just talk to yourself, with respect, and just feel good about yourself, and like flowers and stuff. The problem with positive affirmations is that your own mind has to think of the positive affirmation, then you have to say the positive affirmation, then you have to hold that thought in your mind, and in between all of these steps, as you give yourself one positive affirmation after another, part of you in your head goes, this is bullshit. Part of you in your head goes, this is a lie. I'm telling myself a lie. My life is not what I want it to be. I'm not just happy. This is essentially the same effect, like I said before, going outside when it's raining, standing there in the rain and telling yourself it's not raining. You're going to sit there and tell yourself that you're lying. Positive affirmations are great, but it's hard to do this for yourself. So by utilizing this technology, it's, again, like you're sitting in a chair and there are people around you all speaking affirmation, but they come quickly, and some of them are on top of each other. Similar to the way that negative thinking can spiral out of control. Have you ever been thinking extremely negatively and you go from your cat died to your mother's sick to you failed your test, and then this test is going to cause this one to fail, and then this person doesn't want to hang out with you, and my life sucks so bad, and like my car broke down, and like this, that, and the other, and you just go into this terrible circle of events. And I mean, the thoughts could be much darker than that, which a lot of people they are, but you get this like this mass of just like this pain body, and it envelops you, right? Well, it utilizes that same thought process to stack them on top of each other quickly, and sometimes at the same time. Some of them are said higher, some of them are said lower. There's like 1,000 or 2,000 affirmations to each track that he makes, and they come quick. Now, some of his tracks also incorporate things like Tibetan singing bowls, which just resonate with your mind and such when you hear them, and it is essentially a positivity affirmation meditation, but it's the way it's stacked, your mind doesn't have enough time to really tell yourself that this is bullshit, because your mind has to process information depending on what you're focusing on. So when you're focusing on these affirmations, they're coming so quickly to you that when a negative thought of your own tries to slip in, it quickly gets hit with the new thought, because our minds work on the next thought that comes through, like that spiral effect. So it is actually becomes difficult for you to be negative while you're listening to this, and it sounds corny, and some of the things that he speaks sound a little corny, but it works. In the same way that a song gets caught in your head, these tracks get caught in your head, and later on in the day, like really look these up. They're really good. One of the first ones I would recommend is removing negative blocks, and then there's another one like I am affirmations and such, and those are some of the most powerful words in the world. I am, because you're telling yourself what you are, and then your thought process has nothing to do but to react to that and to respond to that. The people who say that they're always tired, I am tired, I am tired. Well, you're gonna be exhausted because this is the affirmation you're putting into yourself. So the thing is, with these I am affirmations that are going to be all piled up in your head, you're going to go throughout the day, and you do this for long enough. I would recommend, like, if you want to see like life-changing, I'm serious by the way, life-changing mental monologues, listen to one in the morning and at night. You don't have to listen to a full track, and he has a big lead-in where he talks about it and explains it far better than probably I do. Listen to 10 to 30 minutes when you first wake up in the morning. Forget going on Facebook, getting lost on there. Go on and put this in your ears and walk around, make your breakfast, get ready for the day, use the bathroom, do whatever you're going to do for 10, 30 minutes, and then do it right before you go to bed. And I'm telling you, your mental monologue starts to be rewritten. You do this for a month, and you got to stay consistent with it. I would honestly say that you probably have rewritten your subconscious to an amazing degree. And I actually still use this sometimes when I'm having trouble. So as I was saying before, these actually will get stuck in your head. So you're going to be taking a shower later on or something, and you're just going to be hearing like, I am awesome, like I am empowered, I am this, I am that. And it just plays like a song that's been stuck. So even when you shut it off, it's still rewriting your psyche. And I'm telling you, like within probably 2 days, you will start to feel more energetic. You will start to feel, I would say, younger, because your native psyche is actually being rewritten. Personally, I've never found anything that worked as good for myself. I would say give it a shot. Once you become your best friend and you start to really feel good about yourself internally, inside, you're going to find that these obstacles, these blockades that are surrounding you in life, they start to dissipate. I mean, there's this phenomenal quote about if you're sailing through a sea of negativity, but your boat has no holes in it, your ship has no holes in it, that sea can't get in the boat and that ship is not going to sink. I just compared boats and ships. There's a little difference. Boats are like this, ships are like this, but what are you going to do? Anyways, I hope this video was helpful for you. Re-educate your soul and removing negative blocks. I think those are my two favorites over there. I haven't checked out everything he's got to offer, but head over there if you have these kind of problems, and honestly, I think it'll help you out a lot. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this kind of content, subscribe and share the video with anybody who can benefit from this type of information. I really appreciate you coming by. Thank you. You have any idea how bright it is in here? It's really bright in here.